Hey, how are y'all doing? So, I'm going to start this off. So, someone asked me a question about these two trades, and it was a pretty good question. So, I'm going to remove this for now because I didn't quite have this. I started drawing it, by the time I got this trade right here, but I'm going to remove it for now just to unclutter some things. He asked me why did I enter after only one big picture leg back, and then here, how come I entered after only one big picture leg back? And so there's the thing. Not every entry is going to have two legs back, like two immediate legs back before you enter. Like this entry is based on these two major legs back and then a big picture high or low. So you can see that like on the granular level, we have a first entry short, second entry short failure, but I'm not taking it as a failed second entry. I'm thinking of it as a higher low that has a break of this channel after two major legs back. So that's this entry. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to get two legs back like that. I mean, like, generally a lot of the good entries are going to be after two major legs, and then, like, for instance, like, you can look at it as these two major legs here, and then it just slowly gets bigger on multiple levels. Like, at first you have first leg back, second leg back, and then eventually you got to see it on a bigger picture. Those first two legs are going to become one leg, break, two legs, and then eventually that's going to become one leg, break, two legs, and that is where you're going to get massive moves. And I only went for 1-to-1. Unfortunately, for some reason I wanted to get out before the highs, which I could have extended them higher, and I could have milked a little bit more out of it. But and then for this trade right here, I explained it in the post. So basically, it's a perfect trap fade failure, basically. So we have the overnight highs here, the overnight lows here. Clearly, it fit best there. Now, when you break out, price is going to naturally try to fade. That's the first thing price is going to try to do, because most breakouts fail. And now we retested it, and then we shot off. Like, very, very strong move up. It's the strongest, of course, excluding the overnight session. Just, it kind of got slower, and then this is the strongest move, since we've opened, basically, or, it's the strongest move since the volatility has calmed down, not the market open necessarily. And so I was thinking, okay, it failed at fading. Now, when you have a range and price fades, it's going to fade very strongly if it is in fact going to fade. And if it's going to fail at fading, it's going to fail very strongly. And so how I viewed this was, okay, we failed to fade. We have a lot of momentum. We have a bigger picture, higher low. It kind of went sideways, but basically it's been holding up here a lot at the highs, and we failed to fade. So that's a very strong move up. That's a huge momentum, and when we push below the EMA here, I wanted another leg down. Sure, I would have taken it if I got a second leg down, and it would have been just like a nice two-legged break, but it closed back above the EMA, and that's where I entered, which I actually entered one tick higher than that. So basically I was thinking, okay, we failed to fade. That's a huge burst of momentum. We can't even stay below the EMA. Now, we do still got technically two legs back, which I would never normally enter on just like that, but especially below the EMA. But considering the momentum and just knowing the fact that this is the failure of the fade, it really, when you study market structure, it's really good to understand why things happen. Like, why did it retest? Like, what does this retest mean? Like, it's not just a retest going into a little uptrend. It's a failure. Like, that's a big deal. Like, that means it's probably going to go in an uptrend. Like, I knew from the beginning here it's probably going to be an uptrend day because of this fade failure. So anyway, it's perfect context is my point. So that's why I liked it, and I only liked it after it closed above the EMA. I didn't like it beforehand. And I basically, you can see here, I didn't go for 1 to 1, but I didn't go for 1 to 2. I believe I went 1 to 1.25 or 1 to 1. I can check. I went 1 to 1.5. So 30 tick. I just wanted to get out around the highs. I got this is yeah. So anyway, I'm kind of rambling around now, but I just wanted that to be clear. It depends. Like, you're not gonna get. I mean, I guess I've already said it a bunch of times. I'm not gonna keep repeating myself. But so anyway, after the fade failed, I started looking for a wider uptrend, and so I drew something like this, and then it bounced here. I saw that we had these 2 legs down. Wait, let me make sure yeah. So we had these 2 legs down, and I was really wanting to go long at the end of it, but it wasn't off of any support, and so I just couldn't get myself to buy it. And so what I ended up thinking was the case was I tried other channels, like I tried down here, and that didn't work. It tapped it, but it didn't work, but I could tell that there was clearly something there. So ultimately what I ended up doing was I put it here. Now I looked on the 7K chart, and it actually fit a lot better there. So I ended up thinking it looked pretty good because it fit on a higher time frame, and then I just moved it over to that line, and I know that it looks like a pretty good cut, but it seems to fit. And so I moved it here, and then it had already bounced, and I was thinking, okay, for here we have 2 major legs down and then a rush above the EMA. So that is indication that this very big picture second entry is taking off. So we rushed above the EMA, we pulled back on the EMA. It's a big picture higher low, because kind of like how, so you see this higher low from here, that's only a higher low on a very small picture. And I see that it's a failed second entry, but to me, I don't even think of it that way. I just think of it as a higher low on a bigger picture, requiring a break of this uptrend here. So I thought of that as a perfect opportunity to continue higher, yeah, so that's really what I was thinking there. And I guess I should probably go through, I'm just going to go through the day so I don't miss anything now. So 8 o'clock is around here. Now coming in, it was a little bit confusing. So on days like this, it can be hard to find the overnight high and low, but it is there. And so I really just thought of it as, we kind of went into a range here, and that actually kind of helped me find it. So we went into a range, and that's clearly just kind of where the resistance is, and then it matches with this over here. So I just drug it down to it, and then I just try to get as many touches as I can where it seems like it's most flat. So I really liked this, and then we got the breakout attempt to fade, and it was already up here for a while. EMA was holding very well, and so it definitely had a bullish imbalance. Now it did start out like this, but of course we didn't have the rest of the range, and so by this point we still have both halves of the range. So I do think it's a bullish imbalance when we hold that many times like that. And so anyway, let me zoom in here. Sorry, it's scaling weird because of that massive bar on the left. So anyway, we went into this range. First entry short, second entry short. Now, when I started around 8, this is the first, I saw this entry. I wasn't really paying attention to it, so I kind of ignored it. I usually don't like to, because it was still like in the 7s. It was like 755 or something. And so I kind of just ignored it. And then it did end up fading. Now, I don't think I would have wanted to go short into the EMA anyway. I mean, it's held like every single time. So, and then it even held for a little bit. It ended up pushing through, not very long. It ended up just playing these short-term range rules. But yeah, I don't think I would really want to go short directly into the EMA after that many holds, but it's not only a fade of the range, it's also afraid of the overnight high. So there's that, but I would just avoid it. And in the site, I think I might have marked it as something. I don't think it's a particularly good trade. So I just want that to be clear. And so then here we break out of the overnight high. Much more successful breakout, but of course, kind of like how here we had a small breakout, small attempt to fade. We have a much bigger breakout. We're going to have a bigger attempt to fade. And so we rushed below. I saw that someone took this trade. I didn't take it. I wasn't in the room for it. I think it actually does look fine. Not this green bar, only this red bar. And I only think it's good to ride out before the next swing low here. I think it's okay for a scalp, to be honest. But I usually like to avoid. I oftentimes like to avoid 1-to-1. I would want to get out before those bodies. Yeah. So I think it's a pretty good short for 1-to-1. You are expecting it to at least attempt to fade. So I think it looks all right. And then I also saw that he took. What else did he take? Was it? I think it was this or no? Oh, his chart was different than mine, and he had a lower high right here, and he got out at 1-to-1 before the retest, which I thought was smart because it had a bullish imbalance already, and so you can't really expect the fade to be successful, and so I was glad to see that he got out at the retest, instead of expecting it to just fade on through. So, because he would have been stopped out if he didn't get out there. And so we push lower. Then here you can see first entry long, second entry long failure. I mean, really that's just 2 legs back, downtrend played out, and then a first entry. And I don't see any good short there. And then we do get the retest, we get congestive, we get this little failed breakout. Considering we just retested it right here and then rushed above the EMA, I would think that would probably be stronger than this fade for this small range, so I would avoid shorting there. I should probably get that drawn for you. So I would avoid shorting there, but anyway, so we get the retest, we end up reversing, we get this reversal pattern, first entry short, second entry short failure, and you can draw it at first with that, so really that's just a big picture high or low. Which I wasn't going to take just a higher low after a rejection because I really wanted something stronger. And then we got this move up, break, expecting a new high. We just retested the overnight high. We failed to fade, which is a big deal. That's a big push of momentum. We already had a bullish imbalance, and now we failed to fade. And then we get a break, expecting a new high. We hardly can't stay below the EMA for very long, and I entered once we had the second attempt to make another leg down, and then it couldn't do it, and then it just held above the EMA, so I thought it looked really good there, and I just wanted to get out around the highs. And so, anyway, we push up. We have 2 bigger legs up here. Now I don't see any good longs in here. Nothing reaches the EMA, and then we have a first entry long, second entry long. Both are rushing below the EMA. I don't think either one of these. I don't think that either one of these bounces here are particularly good to take. I mean, this bar right here is just a first entry after a strong push below the EMA. So, it could reverse after 2 major legs up. I mean, generally it reverses from there. So I would be worried about that. And we push higher. We kind of start to, that's right, I had it. Yeah, I should draw it like this at first. So we had this range, we break out of the highs, it fails, breakout failed. I was not feeling short. I realized that it was high and that I would need correction before I go long again anyway, but I still wasn't feeling short. I didn't want to, I kind of just wanted to wait on the corrections to get with the trend. I didn't want to counter trend trade here. And so we have first leg down, break, second leg down, and I couldn't take it. It was completely blocked. It was tempting, and I remember thinking at the time, since it's not necessarily off of any support, I really just wanted 1-to-1 for it, and then I was kind of pissed off when it made 1-to-1 really fast. But this trade here, I just want to talk about it. I was so tempted to go long right here, and then it took off. And I didn't do it because it rejected the EMA twice. You know, that's a double rejection of this range. I was just, something about it was telling me. It's at 2 legs down, reversal pattern. It just couldn't get above the EMA. So I can't really put my finger on why I liked it so much, but I avoided it because it was against my rules. So I'm glad I didn't take it. So because I don't want to take a winner knowing I could have lost or something. So, but then here we make this new high. It's very congestive. There's no trades in here. We just wait. We push out. First leg down, break. Second leg down, which of course is now making a second major leg down. And once we reach it, let me get my channel back here. I had the channel something like this because I couldn't figure it out at the time, and then I was really there was no support, and so I couldn't find a way to buy. And plus, at first it was basically blocked anyway, and so I shouldn't be taking it anyway. But then you do get this bar right here, which I'm pretty sure does close out. Let me redraw it again. I kind of forgot. That's right. I was debating whether or not I should take it, because if you draw it on the very end, it closes in, but if you draw it like that, it closes out. So I decided against taking it. I didn't want to try to pick a low, even though it was at a perfect measured move. I didn't want to pick the low. But once it did bounce, I figured maybe there's just a cut here, and then I thought that this fit pretty well. And so then I viewed it as 2 major legs down, and then a rush above the EMA, and then a big picture higher low, which, you know, is a small picture failed second entry, I guess I'll point out. And I just wanted 1-to-1. I just wanted to get out before this resistance. I feel like I was kind of, I think maybe I was too worried about that, because I don't know why I wanted to get out before the highs. It's just a psychological thing. I should have recognized, you know, this is a massive fade failure. Just go 1-to-2. It's very common I lower my target, and then it goes, usually every time I lower my target, it always makes 1-to-2. I don't remember a time that I did that and then it didn't make 1-to-2. So anyway, I shouldn't have been doing that, but anyway, that's why I took these trades. And we push higher here, we get another leg up, pull back, just a first entry right after 2 legs up. That's buying high. I didn't want to buy anything there. And then here we correct again. It, you know, there's no good entry. I mean, it's just 1 leg down at the highs, like kind of like here, like you have 1 leg down there, but it's the higher low after 2 major legs down. Here it's already taken off. It's just 1 leg down with no good context. And so I went to this downtrend. It had a break. It made a new low right there technically, but it's just 1 leg down, and there's no good context with it, so it's not worth buying. But then here we have 2 legs down, so we are in an uptrend with 2 bigger legs down. There's no support here, so I didn't really want to take anything, and I waited on this. It's a failed second entry, which it's kind of just a higher low, because really you can see this as just this uptrend and then a higher low, and then that's kind of just like a spike before a channel. But yeah, because I don't think that those are relative enough to count it as a failed second entry. So I have a higher low here, and yeah, I didn't enter in it. I feel like I should have. I wasn't reading as well as I often do today, but I should have noticed that it's 2 legs down and then 1 leg up, pull back with the trend, and yeah, I really should have entered there. Even if it's just for 1-to-1 to get out before, you know, this triple top, because we have that top there, that there, that there, and then it does find resistance once it reaches it. But I feel like I missed something there, so I'm gonna mark that. I'm gonna mark that area. And so, of course, entering after this bar and then stop below the whole swing. But yeah, and I did eventually get another trade, and I saw that someone else posted this exact trade, so I think it was JS. So JS, I saw that you took that as well. We went for the exact same target. See, that's the thing. I went for 1-to-1 again. I was just having a psychologically not good day. every single trade I took made the full 1 to 2 target, and yeah, and I did not take this trade, in case I haven't mentioned that I didn't take that trade right there. But every trade I took today, I lowered my target than from what I usually do, and every time it filled it. And I just, it's whatever. But I basically would have been up nearly double what I am today. Anyway, so once we broke here, I was thinking, okay, what if that's not the channel, because it does still have a massive cut through it. And I tried to adjust it again to be more off of it, and once we got a bounce, I kind of just drug it to it again, and I thought it fit pretty good. Obviously, I didn't take a bounce off of it because I used it to find the channel in the first place. But oh yeah, and I saw someone ask about this area, so I had it pre-marked for the video. Someone asked why this failed, and the reason is because that's a short-term failed second entry. I mean, you can really just see one leg down. I mean, you can see that it's 2 legs down. There's a couple ways to see it in a negative way. You can see it as 2 legs down, and then you're shorting the very, very low of a move, which is already not good, because you generally want some kind of pullback before you enter, unless you're catching a top. Like, it would have been better to look to buy down here. I mean, 2 legs back, that looks to buy, not to go short. But it also kind of just looks like one swift move down, and if you draw it off of there through that body, it holds on the wick, and then you get this downtrend break, and it's basically like you get a big picture lower high right here, which I think is better than a failed second entry on the granular level anyway. So yeah, that's what it is. It's just to the tick, shorting the very low. Just draw the channel over it. Don't short in it. Wait for the break. You basically get the exact same setup, just on a bigger picture, and then it works. So I don't even think going short here is a good idea at all. I wasn't looking to go short. I was just waiting on pullbacks to go long. But someone was asking why it didn't work, and it's, even if there was good context, I don't even think that this would be good. It's just shorting so low after 2 legs down, and it's also basically one move down, break, and then you can expect a second leg down there. So I just thought I'd go over that. But yeah, so anyway, let me continue with this. There's an announcement that I have. I'm going to make a slight announcement at the end of the video, just by the way. So anyway, I continued down. I started drawing more stuff down here. I remember I eventually had, I was trying to draw something bigger, but I think I ended up just viewing it as a spike in channel, and then kept this. And so yeah, obviously I did not buy that bounce there, because I had to use the bounce to help me find the correct fitting channel. But once we did bounce, we rushed above the EMA. I was kind of hoping we'd get something like a really good reversal pattern right off the bat, but we don't. It really just doesn't touch the EMA for a couple swings and gets extremely congestive. There's no way I'm going to be taking anything in that. We make this new high. This is really just one leg up, in my opinion. Just looks like one leg up to me. And then we have a break, first attempt higher, and I entered on the second attempt higher. And I noticed that JS also took this trade, and I really like this trade, because you have lots of momentum. You're on a strong uptrend, a really, really strong uptrend that's been going up all day. Higher highs constantly, higher lows. And then we get an uptrend break, first attempt higher, second attempt higher. This is a reversal pattern from this downtrend. You can view this as this downtrend break, first attempt to go lower, second attempt to go lower, failure. So this actually has pretty good confluence between these two channels. So just to show, you have this channel with the blue arrow, first attempt higher, and your entry is on the second attempt higher. Okay, that is what you want to see. If you enter on the second attempt, that is where the biggest moves are going to be. And now also, the failure of second attempts is also the biggest moves. And so that is the second attempt for this shorter term trend, which is with the bigger trend. And then it is the failure of making the new low for this trend here, which is a counter trend. So I'll draw it here. Downtrend, break, first attempt to go lower. Let me make that red. First attempt lower, second attempt lower, failure. So you really gotta see this, see it like this. You know, it's, you know, once you start to see it, it'll be like a light bulb moment. You won't unsee it, and things will get a lot easier. But you gotta see these legs. You gotta ignore the ticks, and yeah. So you just gotta understand attempts. That's a big thing, is attempts. So this is the second attempt higher. You know, we only have one attempt. I don't have a second attempt yet. I'm expecting this move. It's at a perfect context to make the second attempt. And also, if it does end up going higher, it will be the failure of the second attempt here, which I should expect the second attempt for this downtrend to fail anyway, because it's counter trend. So that's how you catch those major moves. I want to kind of mark this time zone, because this is one of the, so right now I'm at 26 minutes. I might put a marker in the comment section pointing out this area, because I think this is a important part, understanding attempts, like I was just explaining. Yeah, but anyway, so I just wanted that to be clear. And then we push up. I didn't get any more trades. It really just pushed up here. No entries on these short pullbacks. Then we rush below, rush back above. It's really just getting congestive back and forth above. And, you know, anyway, then we just push up. Here, we go back off the EMA. First entry long, second entry long, too high to enter. But there definitely could have been a good trade there. I mean, uptrend break, expecting a new high with two nice legs back, including the first leg being on the break. So that's a two-legged break. So there could have been a good trade there. Now, yeah, that's going to be it for the price action. Now, one thing I do want to mention is just like about the site and about the YouTube channel. I was talking about this with people on the site. I made a post about it, but I'm not a teacher. I don't do this for a living, and that's part of why I haven't been uploading YouTube videos nearly as much lately. I accidentally got myself to where I felt like I had to make the videos, which was never my intention. I make these videos. When I started making the videos, I made it as a hobby to motivate me, and I wanted to see my progress get people's attention, because then I knew I was doing good. And then, but yeah, I'm not necessarily trying to grow this channel to be a massive channel. I don't want it to be like me teaching. It's just me going over what I do, and then of course I do elaborate. But I never made this channel to become I never really thought of myself having a trading channel, you know what I mean? And I will stop doing it one day, probably not that long, but I'm not going to stop right now, so don't worry. But yeah, I don't upload videos every day anymore. Like, I used to just upload them every day, because it was like I was doing so good and I was so motivated. And, eventually I just kind of got used to it, and I never intended to do this thing long term anyway. So, I'm probably not going to be uploading YouTube videos as often. I'm still in the site. I actually don't mind having the site open, because it's, it's fun to, it's interesting looking at other people's trades and just seeing, because a lot of times I'll take a trade and then someone will post the exact same trade as me, and it's just interesting. But I'm not too active in the site during the session all the time, because I am trading myself, and I basically just do a few posts, couple posts of my chart, some explanations, some brief explanations, and then I generally try to respond to everyone I can. I mean, I know for a fact I miss comments, because I'm not going to be able to respond to every comment. And I don't usually go back to see what I missed. It's usually just if I see your comment, I respond, and if I miss it, I'm not going to go back, because You know, I made it clear from the beginning. It's just a casual thing for me. This is not what I do for a living. I'm not trying to expand it. I'm not trying to grow my channel. And that's part of why I stopped uploading as much. It's not just because I, you know, don't want to bind myself to making videos. I also like this idea of small community. But yeah, I really don't know how much longer I'm going to keep up the penguin trades thing. Because, you know, I will eventually stop uploading. I don't know when. I mean, I can't imagine myself doing this for a really long time or anything, so, you know, anyway. But I do like making them. I like making the videos. It's just when I kind of put myself in the habit of them, and then I felt like I had to make them. I felt like I was on a schedule, like a work schedule to make them, and so then it kind of made me unmotivated to make them and all that kind of stuff. So my mindset was just a little bit off on it. So my mindset on it now is that I'm going to, if I feel like making a video, I'll make a video, and if I don't, I don't, and that might go on for a whole week. It might go on for longer, but I never intended this channel to be something I constantly upload on. It was really just like a journey kind of thing at the beginning, and it grew to the site, and a lot of people like my stuff. I gained 1,000 subscribers in like 3 months or something, and yeah, but it's not going to be, this is not something I'm going to do forever, is my point. So I just wanted to share that with everyone here on YouTube. I already told the people on the website, which, you know, even if I don't upload a YouTube video, I'd still try to be active on the site that day. But anyway, so I just thought I'd share all that, and yeah, I guess that's going to do it for the video, and yeah, I'll see y'all next time.